Welcome to Distortion Analysis, where each episode we discuss various topics, music news, bands on tour, and share album reviews all focused on heavy metal. Here are your hosts, Sean McKnight and William Rizzo. Welcome to episode 2 of the Distortion Analysis. We have a name, William.
This is great.
We actually came up with a name.
And it's so on point.
I think so. Distortion Analysis, I think, is a solid name. Don't you think?
I mean, it relates to many different aspects of what we do, and it's also my favorite channel on my amp.
There you go. I had to confess, I did look up, I did a little homework just to see if there's any other metal podcasts that had word distortion in them. A couple of things here and there, nothing too significant. The only thing I saw that was kind of like anything that was kind of within that was in our wheelhouse was one called it was like Dads on Distortion or something. So it was a bunch of like dads, I guess, talking about metal or something. But they only put out like 2 or 3 episodes a year. So
wow.
Yeah, so I'm not too worried about them. But
That's fine.
So that's out there. So just
also we're not dads.
Well, true. So we do have our own niche.
That name doesn't apply to us.
That's right. So we're fine without that. So
yep.
All right. So the topic of this particular podcast was I saw that MTV has shut down.
Oh yeah.
History.
Well, the music channels have shut down.
Yeah. So the history of MTV is coming to a close.
Well, I think it sucks that the one thing that's living on is the non-music MTV.
Of course.
You know, like the reality television shows, the version of MTV. I mean, I don't know. I'm assuming that MTV was a huge part of your life and growing up with like 100%. Being exposed to different rock bands and metal bands.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring it up because in the early days when the M stood for music and not like marketing and merchandising and that kind of thing, when it was still music based. When Headbangers Ball came out, that changed my life, man. Because that was like the first real portal I had into metal that was so accessible to me. Because where I grew up, I didn't have college radio, and commercial radio wasn't really playing anything. They were all playing classic rock stuff.
That's right.
I wasn't hearing like Venom or Sabbath or early Metallica or any of that stuff. I wasn't hearing that anywhere on the radio. Now, what about you? You grew up, I mean, you had at least WSOU near you.
Yeah. I didn't find out about it until like 89 or 90. No, it was about 89, I think.
Okay.
But I mean, I was still watching MTV from the time that 80, 82?
80, yeah, something like that.
81?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I was already familiar with the format. It was basically just getting turned on to a new show. Yeah, which was Headbangers Ball.
Well, before Headbangers Ball, what did you have access to as far as metal outlets and listening to metal? Because the only thing I had were my friends in middle school that were turning me on to like Warlord and Merciful Fate, and I was getting all these early, really early Manowar stuff like that. I was getting all these early bands, but that was because my friends were kind of like tape trading and things like that. So we were doing stuff like that back in like 6th, 7th, 8th grade,
right,
and then high school. So, but that's how I was finding out about like a lot of the underground bands. But how did you discover them?
Exact same thing. Exact same. Friends making recommendations. The recommendations started with the basics like Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, Anthrax, and Overkill, which is from here in Jersey. So it was kind of like a local thing. Yeah. And then, of course there was, Manowar, I think was also New York based. I wasn't a big fan of them, but there was what was it, SOD?
SOD, yeah, Stormtrooper Death.
Yeah. Plus New York was a hardcore capital too. So
yeah, big time. Crumbsuckers, all those bands going back.
I mean, it's going back to the Ramones.
Yeah, big time. So what did you guys have? Was there any radio stations or anything like that before, like besides the stuff you did with your friends? Did you have any other outlets?
Not really. What really wasn't a popular medium. It was always seen as, like, I distinctly remember metalheads being ostracized
Yeah.
in junior high school. They
Yeah.
were dirtbags.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah. Yeah.
scumbags.
Yeah.
There was a few guys that like I can distinctly remember, like nobody ever said anything good about them, but they were the ones who were wearing like the Anthrax shirts,
Yeah.
Metallica shirts, and I don't know
Maiden.
what it was. It was just like, fortunately, I can say I got into the music because of the music. Is when I first heard Metallica, it just like totally fucking possessed me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because I wanted to fit in with a group of people. It was just like, oh my God, this shit is awesome. Oh, look at that. Those people over there like the same thing. I'm gonna go hang out over there.
Right.
It opened a whole new circle of friends.
Right on.
So,
So when you got into MTV, like how did you react when you first saw Headbangers Ball? Because I know when I heard the SOD music, because you said SOD, they were like the theme music of Headbangers Ball, that dun dun dun.
yep,
So that was all them.
yep.
That was all Scotty Ian riffs. So when you got into that, how did you? I know I freaked out when I saw that because I couldn't believe all the stuff I was exposed to.
Yeah,
I was staying
yeah.
up late as I could watching everything. What about you?
It was kind of a mix for me because a lot of the stuff that was on the show was hair metal,
Hair metal, yeah, they definitely had hair metal
you
there.
know, and so at the time, the girl I was dating, she was like huge fan of Skid Row and Poison. She had posters of like Bret Michaels all over the wall of her house there. And I don't know, it just was like, ew, you know, I mean, it's like I'm trying to like, make some moves here, and I keep seeing dudes out of the fucking corner of my eye watching, and it's not cool. But
And the
no,
dudes
but
are
and
and the dudes are kind of pretty, so it's even more distracting.
oh man, the Motley Crue pictures that she had up, I was like, at first I was like, are they actively trying to cross dress?
That must have been theater pain.
Yeah, it's
I think it
right
was
about
theater
that same
pain.
era. There's a funny anecdote from Kerry King, who's like, and I don't know if this is really attributed to him directly or if somebody just made this up because everything on the internet is true,
You're right.
everything you read. But he's apparently he said something like, we were driving down the street one day and we saw a group of hookers, and then we realized it was Motley Crue.
I
I
think
don't,
he did say something to that
did
effect. Yeah.
he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did. Yeah, I think that's a real quote. Yeah, so I think that's legit.
yeah. Well, so Headbangers Ball was like a mix of that stuff,
Yeah,
and then it would mix it like because I actually recorded quite a
me
few
too. I
videos.
used to do that too. I used to record on
Yeah.
VHS tape. Yeah.
Yep.
So I
And
go back
and
and
they
watch it
would
later.
mix things up. It wouldn't always be like there wasn't like a speed metal
Yeah, but see,
section.
that's what I liked about it. It was like an eclectic mix of different styles. I mean, you
Yeah.
had hair metal, but then you had thrash in there.
Right.
You had you had some of the heavier stuff in there too, some of the speed metal, like Metallica,
Yep.
and then early Megadeth. When I
Yep.
saw the video for Peace Sells, that was like one of the coolest things ever.
It was sick.
Like,
Yeah.
it was so, yeah, because it was something that was, it felt kind of like forbidden in a way. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because it was
Hmm.
like, what's this underground thing? And
Yeah.
who
It
people
definitely
shaking
felt
their head.
taboo.
Yeah, yeah, and then you had the people banging their heads and stuff like that, and it just felt this dark, kind of energy to it, but in a really interesting, kind of constructive way at the same time.
Oh, totally.
So,
And
you know
some
what I
of those
mean?
videos were works of art.
Oh, big time.
Like
Yeah,
the video for Megadeth's Hangar 18
yeah,
is a work of
absolutely,
art.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but that's the thing though. You got exposure to those bands, and how else did we get exposure then? Because at that time, again, commercial radio wasn't playing this stuff. That's for
That's
sure.
true.
And again, I lived in a market where there was no college radio around, so to
Right.
be exposed, like with that kind of stuff. So that was the way I found these bands, and then that just turned on
Yeah.
my friends, and that just made us go even more crazy
Yeah.
when we were in that tape trading thing, because now we had this outlet and we all talked about it. Was that
Now,
something? Did you bond with your friends over MTV at all?
it wasn't explicitly MTV per se. It was just what they were playing.
Just Headbangers Ball and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, man, did you see the new video for, blah, blah, blah? Especially like when Metallica's video came out for One.
Oh yeah, that was a big
And
deal.
yeah, and I was like, my God, listen to those double bass
Yeah,
drums.
yeah, yeah.
And,
And
it seemed more, I don't know, live when you were watching this video, this tragic story about this fallen soldier who was, a quadruple amputee and that was just sick, man. It was
Oh, amazing.
nobody had ever seen anything like that.
Absolutely. Well, that brings up a really good point because I think that was where I know I started to connect with bands more, just on my own level of actually seeing them, actually connecting a face to the people playing.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you didn't really get that before. Again, you had
To see them in
radio and
action.
whatever. Yeah, it's actually unless you saw them live. But when I was a
Yep.
kid, I couldn't go to live shows, so this was like the next best thing.
Right, right, right,
So
right, right.
getting actually to see that, and then because my band in the '70s was Kiss,
Yeah.
so when Kiss started making videos and stuff, it was like there's Kiss. I actually get to see them. That
Yep.
was like that connection that you just had that you just didn't you didn't have before. So I
Or
thought
you
that was
bought like a VHS concert film.
right, something like that. Yeah, exactly.
No,
So, but
we had a record store on Long Island. It was called Slip Disc Records, and it was just phenomenal, phenomenal record store. Anything metal. Uh, People all over the island would go to this store. It was in a town called Limbrook. Um, and I don't want to speak for you, but I will say that for me, I feel like I kind of missed the bus with like the exposure aspect to metal because that there was like a whole underground scene going on especially in the late 80s.
oh
I was never a part of, but
yeah,
like if you wanted to get exposure to a lot of stuff, once you found it was almost like the analogy I use is like the catacombs under Paris.
yeah,
Like once you find an entry point, you're off to the races.
the world just
And
blows up. Yeah,
yeah, and
yeah,
you start finding out that people are producing like their own homemade magazines
yeah, yeah.
with
Zines.
interviews,
Yeah,
and then you see, ads for different albums. And um, being a guitar player, I was also buying guitar magazines,
yeah,
and they would occasionally review different albums, like heavier albums, Testament, Exodus, Slayer. And
yeah.
so I'd be like, oh, I'm going to go to Slip Disc and pick that up. That was the extent that I was really how I was getting turned on and stuff. But there was a whole underground net.
Oh,
People
I
were tape trading well before I ever did that.
Oh, same here. Yeah, I mean, I didn't find out about the underground until around like late. Yeah, it's about right, late '80s, early '90s for me too. And then especially when I started working at Relapse, and then that just cracked my brain open to a whole bunch of stuff because
Oh yeah.
then I got into European stuff and a bunch of other stuff. So because a lot of those other bands didn't get exposure over here. Again, again MTV was kind of that portal. But then around, I don't know when it was when it started to go south. I think it was after the grunge movement towards the late '90s, I guess is that when it started to go, I think, they were getting away from music and getting into the other crap that they were doing, I guess, more and more. Does that
Oh
sound about
yeah.
right, that
Yeah.
timetable?
I would say mid to the late 90s, which is when they started having like shows that were not about music.
Yeah. It's like
Um,
pregnant teenagers and whatever.
yeah,
Some
yeah. And
shit
I
like
can't
that.
think of names of all of those shows, but like once I saw
Jersey
one and I'm like, oh,
Shore.
maybe this is just a fluke.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a fluke. And
Yeah.
then they started coming up with all the other shows. And then they came out with MTV2, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, yeah. And they actually, I think some of the marketing about 2
Yeah.
was that it was supposed to be music oriented
Right.
again.
It was actually supposed to be right. They were going back to what their
Yeah.
roots are supposed to be. Yeah.
I said, hallelujah. And then I got let down again.
Yeah. That's so
It's
true.
because the same crap. Because as soon as they realized, oh, we're not making a lot of money doing these music videos,
Yeah.
let's do these stupid shows on this channel too.
Well, that's pretty much what happened, and then it went to hell from there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
I
sad
mean,
day.
it was good that metal had a moment on there. It had some exposure, and then it went back underground again. So, but
Yep.
it's interesting that I find that it's interesting that bands still make videos though. So that hasn't really stopped the whole video movement overall.
No, not
Bands are
really.
still doing they have their own YouTube channels now, or they're just releasing as extra bonus content on their albums,
Yep.
things like that they're doing. So it seems like the music video has not died. It's just been kind of repurposed, I guess.
Yeah.
You still
Well,
watch
it's coming
music
through.
videos? Yeah. Do you still watch
Oh
music?
yeah.
Do
It
you?
comes through different channels. YouTube is full of them.
Yeah. Okay.
So
That's
like if I
that's
ever
going
want
to be
to
where pretty much where I watch anything music video. I watch
totally,
YouTube.
totally. Yeah,
Do
the
you have any?
television is no longer part of that equation.
What? Yeah. So do you have any? Are there any channels you watch in specifically, or just kind of like in general bands and?
There's well, it's like a mix between channels that are dedicated to increasing the exposure of a lot of different bands, like label channels.
Right, right, right.
Um, and there's also the individual bands channels that might have like their videos on there. So sometimes I'll end up watching a video of a band and then it's their channel. So there's a bunch of other videos under there. Versus like a channel like I'll just pick a popular one now. It's called Slam Worldwide,
Huh. Let's take a look at that.
and it's all slam death metal basically.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, if you just want a great primer on a lot of different slam bands, I mean, that's a great channel, and the
Okay.
videos are well made.
Cool. So they
And
actually put some money into, they actually have like a budget to put into it and stuff.
I don't know about how the finances part of it works. I mean, everybody's getting ripped off now.
Yeah,
Nobody's
true.
making money with music anymore. It's
Yeah.
it's a dead model in terms of like unless you're like a one of those K-pop bands,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
one of these Taylor Swift type people, you're not making enough money to just be like, okay, I'm gonna not work anymore, and you know where I'm going with
Oh,
that.
yeah, 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 totally. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, well, I was reading that there are bands that are giving up touring because they can't pull off the expense. So
Yep.
they're just kind of doing like regional shows so they don't have to get on the road per se, but they can still play out. And so that's what they're doing.
Yep.
So yeah, it's like there's a lot. Yeah, you can't make shit in music right now unless you're like you said, like you're some huge act.
Yeah. It
So,
makes you
but
wonder how they used to be able to afford it.
yeah,
You know, when AC/DC used to go out in the late 70s and all through the 80s, they would have how many, what, 20, 30 trucks,
yeah,
semi trucks, plus the buses.
yeah.
I mean, do you know how astronomically expensive that had to
Well,
be?
yeah,
And they
yeah,
did it
Iron Maiden.
anyway.
I mean, look at what Maiden does, or like Rammstein. I mean, the scope of those like setups is crazy, like massive.
Right.
But that's the only way they can pull that off is being at that level, which is where like see that's the thing that sucks about MTV going down the way it did because Headbangers Ball was like one of those exposure points for bands that now has been taken away.
That's
So,
right.
so now you have to kind of like hunt a little harder for this stuff.
Mhm.
Like, like what you were describing on YouTube, where you have to go look up bands and like kind of do your own homework on it. And it's
Yeah.
just there's not like one outlet for this anymore. So I think there's a gap that's been left behind, but I don't know if anybody can fill that gap because I guess the money's not there for it. I don't know.
The money's not there and the eyeballs aren't there,
Yeah,
which I
yeah.
guess is tied to the money.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess not, which is kind of sad because you're right. There's like some really beautiful music videos out there, and it
Hmm.
feels in some ways like an lost art. Although they're still making videos. So
Well, it's it's just fallen by the wayside along with everything else, just like the Victrola did 100 years ago. You know, now it's broadcast television and terrestrial radio are looked at as icons of the past,
antiquated. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, well, that's true. You bring up a good point about terrestrial radio, where that's been replaced by well, like podcasts and just
streaming music
streaming
platforms.
music platforms. Yeah, playlists. Yeah, I talked to a buddy of mine who runs a label himself, and basically all the money's coming from streaming.
Yep.
So that's pretty much where it's at, and what are called playlists now, which are of course where they have these people that assemble playlists for people to listen to, and it's
Yep.
kind of like it's almost like a pre-built DJ set.
It
So,
totally is.
that's pretty much what it is.
And it's not even being curated by a real person in a lot of cases.
Oh, yeah, using
You know,
AI,
it's that
whatever.
they're AI algorithms, and it's just, I mean, I don't know. I still don't dig the whole that whole streaming format. I like the album format
I
because
don't
one
listen
song
to
flows
streaming at
into
all.
another.
Yeah.
I just that's just kind of how I feel about it. But it's definitely become like an anachronism because I remember telling somebody that I was listening to the radio the other day, and he says, "You listen to the radio?" I'm like, I was in my car. I was I was stuck in traffic. What the fuck you want from me, man? You
So
know?
radio still exists.
Yeah.
All right. Since you mentioned AI, this is a good time for us to transition over to metal news.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I mentioned something to you in the notes there that I read on Metal Addicts. where I read that in Metal News this episode, I read that Geezer Butler from Black Sabbath is using an AI singer while he's writing songs for his next solo album.
Right.
Now I read a little bit further about that. I want to clarify, but that he has not said that he's using the AI singer as the singer for the album. He's just using an AI singer to kind of like test like melodies and
Oh,
vocal
yeah.
tracks and that kind of stuff.
That's how I read that.
That's how I read that too. Now, how do you feel about that?
Uh, if it's not, I don't know. That doesn't bother me like the idea of an actual AI vocalist.
Right,
That you're putting out AI vocals as part of your end product. He's basically using it as a songwriting tool.
right.
So
Yeah.
it's no different to me than like someone who's using a metronome.
I was just thinking metronome. Yeah. I
Yeah, it's
was
just
thinking
a
the same
tool that
thing.
you use.
Yep.
I use it all the time, and it's not because I can't count, three, four time. It's
Yeah.
because it helps take the mental workload off a little bit so that I could focus on making it work.
Right, right.
And if that's what he's doing, it's no different.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about it too. I just hope that nobody crosses the line and starts to go, oh, well, we don't really need singers anymore. We'll just use this.
Stop listening to that guy.
Yeah. Well, that's how I feel about that too. But I mean, I feel like there's people knocking on that door right now. You know what I mean? That there are people that are trying to replace
Oh,
artists with
sure.
AI.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the band, look at the news that came out. I put something on my Facebook like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago that there was the story back then was that there was this band, and I don't remember the name, and I don't even want to say it because I don't want anybody to go, oh, I gotta listen to that. No, you don't. Some band that was completely created by Spotify for
Oh,
by
I've read something about that.
you know
Yeah,
what
it
I'm
was an
talking about?
AI
Yeah,
band. It was a completely AI band.
yeah.
Yeah.
That to me is an abomination, man. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. And if someone feels like, oh, it's interesting because it's just a new type of art form. If you want to look at it that way, that's fine. But as a musician, I can't accept it.
No, what did it sound like to you? Did it sound authentic, like real musicians, or did it sound like AI?
It sounded like real music, but
Really?
there was something that was not right. It's the thing that was missing from it was the same thing as when you're listening to like AI narration of videos.
Or when you look at AI art,
Yeah, it's
there's
it's
just
it's almost like
something off, right?
it's bizarre.
It's
There's a
something
bizarre
missing.
element to
You
it.
know what? You know what I think it's missing. This is going to sound very woo-woo, kind of hippie of me. It feels like it's missing soul.
You're not alone in saying that.
But that's
A
why,
lot of people have said that.
don't you think that? Because I mean,
Oh
that's the
yeah,
one key thing that we have that AI doesn't is that human thing,
that's
that
right.
human nature touch thing, and
That's right.
that doesn't have that. And I can tell that when I look at the art, when I hear the music, I can tell it, and it's just like that missing ingredient that it doesn't have.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people would say that the thing about AI music is that it might be too perfect, and it's not that.
Yeah, yeah,
It doesn't feel too perfect. It feels like it's real music, but it's lacking a kind of a uh freewheeling, I guess, type of ingenuity and creativity
yeah, yeah.
that isn't it. I don't know. It's very clear to me that it lacks human expression.
Yes, there you go. That's a good way to phrase it. Human expression.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So not cool with me, but look, like I said, if you're just practicing something to try to come up with something,
yeah.
that's one thing. Now, then when you get too close to the line is when you're like, I can't really finish this line.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
And then you go into the AI thing and you're like, what rhymes with blah blah blah?
yeah, yeah.
It's different if you're like looking up like a thesaurus to
Hmm.
see about antonyms or synonyms of a certain word you're looking for or different forms of the word. That's different. But like
Right.
when you're asking a program to finish your lyrics,
Yeah.
that's where the line is
I
getting
agree.
crossed.
I agree with that. Yeah, and I have heard other instances where there have been writers that have been using AI to help them write, and I'm like, ugh. I mean, if it's something like you said, like the word research thing, I think that's totally fine. But when you're trying to generate the content and be
Yep,
lazy about it, well, then that's not you anymore. That's just you
that's
passing the
right.
buck. And then, as far as I'm concerned, the AI should get a writing credit, right?
I've always said if uh, you can't finish something, whether it's a line of a lyric or a riff or a bridge or a chorus, walk away.
Right.
Walk away for as long as it takes. If it takes a day, a week, 2 weeks, a month, come back to it
Yeah.
because then you'll have, just fresh eyes and a fresh mind about it. And I only say that out of experience. Like when I come back to something, I usually go, oh God, I should have seen that all along, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
but
totally.
I don't know.
I messed up
We could
too.
sit here and make up all of our own, rules about what we think is cool and not. And, somewhere over in the other side of the planet to discussing the same thing and they're
Yeah.
saying the opposite.
Yeah, probably.
Is it who's right and who's wrong? I don't
Well,
know.
we're right, but that's okay.
Well, yeah, I only said that to be diplomatic.
It's not how you really feel. All right. So, did you have any other metal news that you saw and want to talk about?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So that moves us over into our album review of the week. And this is my choice.
God.
This is my choice this week. I chose Lamb of God Resolution. And what did you think?
Oh,
What you so yeah, you digging it?
I spun that thing like 5 or 6 times so far. Let me refer to my famous notes. Not a bad song on the entire album.
Right?
Tightness is on another level. Solos are totally insane and savage. Phil Anselmo vocals possessed by Nephron Ka.
That's a great description. Oh my
All right.
God.
Little
Awesome.
bit of James Brown in this, bringing the funk.
There's some funk.
Exceptionally arcane riffs
Ooh.
and that fucking guitar tone. Ah, sounds so good.
Like for being such a massive band, they have such good separation going on, hearing what they're doing, especially as intricate as they are.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. They're like the thing that blows me away about them is that like one of the things that blows me away is the drumming. Like that drumming is insane.
Yeah.
They are so tight, so precise. There's not a sloppy thing in there, but he's also like hitting like 1,000 notes at a time. I don't know how the hell he does it.
I don't know. I think he exists on a slightly altered plane for the rest of them. And I say this because if you in the first song, which is that real
Straight for the
dong, dong,
sun, yeah,
dong.
straight for the
Yeah.
sun. Yeah.
What the note that I made is at the end, the drummer had no reason to do this, but at the end, but he did.
What was
That like as the guitars are fading out, he just starts pounding,
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
pounding, and it's like, oh my God, this brings it to another level. And then of course it creates the bridge into song two.
Right, right.
So yeah, man, I'll be honest with you, I really didn't know what to expect because my only exposure to Lamb of God prior to this was, and I looked it up since we last spoke, and it's the song Redneck, which is on the album Sacrament. Now,
Oh, oh.
Sacrament, what
Huh.
came out in '06, I read,
Okay.
and this thing came out,
This was 2011,
Resolution was like, yeah, 2011. So
2011, 2012. Yeah.
it's clearly like a different
Yeah.
approach to songwriting because like I didn't like the riffs in Redneck. I didn't like the way the song was written.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was too rocky for me, and so
Yeah.
I'm like, ah. And then the video was kind of funny to watch with the kids' birthday party being
Yeah. Right.
interrupted and
That's right.
violated by heavy metal musicians and hookers. But I was pleasantly surprised in putting on Resolution. I thought it's a fantastic album. It's very well produced.
Yeah.
It's not too long,
Nope.
and it's very powerful.
That's their seventh album. So they had a lot of time to evolve into their sort of songwriting techniques and what they were doing. And before that, they did have a history as Burn the Priest. So they had
Uh,
other albums before that too, and then until they got,
oh yeah,
so it became Lamb of God. Yeah. But yeah, this is like the seventh album. And yeah, I like I like that they still have variation to it. They definitely have a formula, but they also still surprised me with the different pacing and things like that because Straight for the Sun, that first song that you talked about, it's not like it's not like something like Cheated where it's like instantly like rah 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 just blah like in your face, like which is what you often
Right.
expect from them. When you just expect this, pounding fast, kind of intense thing. It's like that slow build thing where it's like
Mhm.
dun, no no no, and then he's like like that. And
Yeah.
then it's just that kind of epic build-up thing rather than
Yeah.
just being like 90 miles an hour, like right out of the gate.
Excellent introduction to that album.
That's what I liked about it. Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
that different kind of pace and feel, like right away, but heavy as shit.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah.
like it would diminish the heaviness at all. It was still like, oh my God, this is like epic. I want to
I
break shit just like in a
yeah.
slow motion manner. You know what I mean?
Don't crash.
Yeah, Cheated, I want to break stuff fast, but Straight for the Sun, I want to break stuff slowly in slow motion.
There you go.
So, but yeah, it was that kind of stuff that I thought was what makes them kind of unique in that they're not one dimensional.
No,
They can
no.
kind of feel that way at times, but then when you kind of really lock into different songs, you're like, oh no, there's some peaks and valleys in here. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
definitely. It's definitely an album that was worthy of the term journey.
While I mean the guitar intro to Ghost Walking, which is where it has that clean guitar before it
Oh,
gets,
the acoustic
oh
intro.
my God, yeah.
Uh, yeah. Which song is that?
Ghost Walking,
What number song is that?
number 3.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's wow. The song beat your face up. The sick fucking drums. Okay. Yeah.
But
I
that's that.
I
Remember, that's the one you started off with. You said that you texted me. You were like, "Holy shit, that guitar!" And I knew what you were talking about.
It was very enjoyable. I kept thinking that they were a nice cross between Pantera and
Mm.
Judas Priest,
Oh,
you know?
interesting. But like slightly more pissed off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, for
I think that's fair. I can see that. I
yeah,
could definitely see that. Yeah.
I have the musicality of it, at least on this album. So I'm gonna have to check out some of their other recordings to see if it's, along the same lines or if it dips back into the that Sacrament era kind of thing. I don't know.
If I have to recommend any follow-ups, I would recommend Omens
Yeah.
and also Wrath.
Okay. Now
Yeah.
those two came out between Sacrament
I
and
think that's true. Yeah. Although
and
Wrath, I don't know if that's a little bit later or not. Hold on, I'll tell you in a minute. But yeah, I'm not sure when what the order of those were exactly. So Wrath, I'm not sure. Whoops, turn that off. Yeah, I'm not sure. I have to look that up. I'll double check though. Um, let me see if I can find that. Yeah, I don't know, like, because I don't know exactly their discography history per se.
uh, they got a
So
lot of records.
they do. Yeah, they actually do have, and they also have like EPs and stuff like that. They did that one song with Lamb or with Mastodon.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know it.
they did a collaboration with Mastodon too. So, but yeah, they did. They're kind of all over the place doing different stuff, but
Yeah, they've been around for a long time now.
they have been. Yeah. Um, Hold on, let me just see if I can bring this up. Yeah, I can't find it. I'll figure it out. Anyway, you get the idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Uh
yeah.
the last thing I have, you mean you keep going back to the drums. I have, last but not least, these drums should be on the golden record on Voyager 1. I rest my case.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I really agree with that.
I mean, they're really, really good.
Oh my God, so tight. So tight. Yeah, Wrath was 2009. Sorry, I just had to look that up real quick.
Yep.
Um, yeah, like, I agree with that. Like that again, that drummer, insanely good. But I also like again the scope of like Randy Blythe's vocals. He's like one of those really interesting vocalists that he works with his voice like an instrument more.
Hmm.
Because he'll go high and low. He does like real guttural stuff. Then he does clean vocals. I mean, he's just like all over the place, man. He's not like some singers that are just kind of like, they kind of like one, sort of barky thing that they do.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it.
No, you're right.
He's like, it's like this. He's like an instrument that way. I don't
That's
know how
right.
the hell I don't know how he sings like that.
He does what the song requires, and I respect that.
Yeah.
And same thing with the drums. It's very easy to overplay.
Yeah,
And then once you've done it and you let the cat out of the cage, it's too late to take it back.
that's it. Yeah.
So you have to just be very sparing in how you exhibit your excellence, whether it's,
Where it can get too busy and gets kind of like, a masturbation exercise in
yeah, and
music
then it
where it's
gets
just
like
kind of like
showboat.
self-indulgent. Yeah, 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 totally. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's true about the drums and the vocals. Well, everything really. They know how to like go crazy, but not in a way that feels overly complicated or
Yep.
indulgent or
Right.
because you like you said, it's like he does what's required for the vocal at that time. Just
It's
like the
always
drum.
important to play for the song.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I did read that he said Blythe said that he said that the band makes music for five guys, and that's it. They don't make music for the fans. They don't make music for the label. They
Yeah.
make music for themselves. That's all
Yeah.
they do. So it's like
Hmm.
fuck everybody else. If you like it, great. If you don't, you don't.
Hmm.
So kind of a thing. Yeah.
And
So
that's how you should do it,
that's what I think.
because otherwise I don't know, what are you chasing?
You're pandering just to sell albums or something or whatever that is.
Yeah, but the even if you sell albums, you're just going to be you're a flash in the pan.
Yeah.
If you don't develop your own signature identity as a band, then you're not going to last very long. I mentioned the Ramones earlier. They had a very specific, clear direction about how they wanted to present their music, and because of that, they lasted for decades, and their music continues to entertain people. So,
Right on.
it's the same thing with this stuff. You make things that you are happy going to your grave about.
That you're passionate about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, to your question about the latest album would be Omens. That was 2022.
Okay.
So you can kind of, if you want to hear something more recent, that would be maybe the one to listen to if you want to hear their more
Yeah.
recent stuff.
Oh, I'll check it
So
out.
yeah, they're working on some new stuff, but they don't have another album out just yet. They've been doing some singles here and there, but that's been about
Okay.
it. Yeah, but yeah, no, man, that again, his vocal. One of the things I love about that is on one of the surprises for me on this album was King Me, the
Uh-huh.
last song. It's a kind of like this really big, sort of epic, long song.
Hmm.
That's like towards the end.
Epic finale,
That's
like
the
a
one.
dragon flying from the sky. Yep.
You worded it so much better than I did. So yeah, that's that's a great way to word that. But see, that's one of those songs that kind of surprises you. You wouldn't necessarily expect that from them.
Yeah.
But you get this kind of big epic song at the end, and you're like, holy shit, that was like, because it's a departure from that. It still gets into like brutal territory, but it's big. It's this sort of big sweeping song, and
Yeah.
they do that stuff from time to time where where they surprise you with sort of a more of a like more thought out, just expansive song like that, rather than just brutal in your face,
Hmm. That
just
was a
crush you,
great capstone to that album.
right?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
it takes a lot, I think, to say, why don't we do something that's just very profound
yeah.
for the last song?
Profound is
Because
a good word. Yeah,
yeah, a lot of times people put real stinkers at the end of their records.
yeah.
This is not a case of that.
Well, I like that they had like I'm looking at the album now. There's 16 tracks on here. And one of the other things I like about what they do is they often include like live songs too.
Oh,
So there's a bunch of live tracks on Wrath and some of the other albums as well that are really cool because they just have all these bonus tracks. And it's not like they charge extra for the album. It's like the same like $10 or whatever, that they charge
yep,
for the album. So
yep.
just like they do that with other albums too. So that's one of the things I really like about them is they released the Ashes of the Wake. They did like a anniversary of that. And then there was a bunch of other, again, like live stuff on there, some demos on there,
Hmm.
things like that. There's like, 18 tracks on there. So just stuff like that they do that they don't like, they don't make it some big, oh, you have to pay for some box set or something. It's like
Right.
a really nice, just hey, here's this extra bonus stuff, or just slap it on there and it sounds cool.
It's so obvious that it's something they're doing for their fans.
Yes, exactly.
Whereas if you were to pull that record up on Spotify, I don't know if it has those extras on it or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's something that you do if you have a recording laying around of a show you played a couple years ago and the response was fantastic, then put it at the end of the record.
Yeah, big time.
People will
Well,
love it.
well, that's why I like buying the albums directly from the artist. Like I buy stuff on Apple Music and places like that. I
Yeah.
don't listen to streaming because I'm not a fan per se. And I'd rather have bonus stuff like that and support the artist with a direct sale.
Totally.
So,
Totally.
that's my mentality with it. Not to mention you get all this great bonus stuff that you, like you said, you don't get like necessarily on platforms like on the streamers.
Yeah.
So hey, support the artist.
Well, that's how they were going to make the money now. It's not from, you know, not from well, eh, hopefully you can get like some tour dates together.
Yeah,
Hopefully you can sell some merch,
yeah, totally.
but it's always a gamble, especially when you have five people in a band.
Ugh,
How are you
trying to
splitting
make a living.
yeah, I mean, you
Yeah,
play a show and you get $250.
yeah,
You
right.
split that five
Split it
ways
five
and
ways, and then you have to pay for food and
yeah,
gas. Yeah,
hope
everything
there's
else.
another show tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that was our review of the week. So we are on to the mystery band of the week, which is again where we try to turn each other onto a band that we haven't heard of yet, or that that the other person has not heard of yet. We're going to be taking turns. This week it's my turn to present a band to you to
Hit
see
me.
if I can turn you onto a band here, and it's going to be I am again wearing the shirt. So Prophets of Rage. Are you familiar?
Ah,
Are you familiar?
I am not.
Ah,
I've heard the
okay.
name.
So let me explain who Prophets of Rage are. Okay, so now they've only released like an EP and like a self-titled album, which I highly recommend. So let me ask you this: Are you a Rage Against the Machine fan? It's okay if you're
Very
not.
minimally.
It's okay if you're not. I just
Yeah.
double checking. Okay, well here's who it is. It's Rage Against the Machine, but instead of Zach De La Roca, it
Yeah.
is Be Real from Cypress Hill and Chuck D from Public
From Public
Enemy.
Enemy
Oh yeah,
on
that's
vocals.
you betcha.
Wow. All right.
Those two together.
Keep
Highly,
talking.
highly recommend it. It sounds a lot like Rage, but with those two guys on top of it, man, it is
Yeah.
amazing. I'm such a big fan of this. I got the EP, I got the self-titled thing. There's some live stuff on the EP, which is good too if you're interested. But
Eh.
yeah, they just kind of formed this super group, and they released a couple albums. Now I don't know if they're going to do any more because Tom Morello's been doing some solo stuff that I've been also
Oh yeah.
following too. Yeah, I love his stuff. But I don't know if they're going to keep doing this or not. I have to look it up and check out the band's website and stuff. But
Hmm.
yeah, so and it sounds like Rage, but with Chuck D and Be Real on top of it. So the vocals are just freaking awesome.
I was a big Cypress Hill fan.
Oh, then you're
Yeah.
gonna love this because it's the
Uh,
mashup of those two working together.
oh, that's
So and
cool.
Chuck D's my favorite rapper, like of all time.
Really?
I love Public Enemy. Huge Public Enemy fan. Yeah, I love that band. Well, not just for his I think he's got such a definitive voice that is so distinctly him.
Oh, most definitely.
Oh my God. But then secondly, his lyrics too, because they do get political. They have some really
Oh, totally.
there's some weed stuff on there because B Real's on there, of course. So there's stuff about weed.
Of course.
So weed and politics are a lot of the dominant subject matter on the
I
albums.
can dig it. It's fun.
And one thing that's cool about the the EP is they do some live stuff and they do some Public Enemy stuff and they also do like a Beastie Boy cover and some other stuff. It's really freaking cool, man.
Wow.
So yeah, it's worth taking a listen to overall. Just
Prophets of Rage.
Prophets of Rage. So check
Where's
out
my pen?
that is your assignment to check out. And then of course next week or the next episode you'll be giving me my assignment, but this is your assignment. So check out. I would say check out the self-titled though. Such a strong album, and the musicianship's awesome because it is like the Rage guys. So and it's their funk. It's
Yeah.
like again, it's just like a Rage album, but just with these two vocalists. And
Well, I'm a big fan of Morello's guitar playing.
oh, then you'll love this. Oh, you'll
Yeah.
love this. Yeah, because it's him. It's just him doing his thing, man. And you know what that's like. And he just have you heard his solo stuff at all?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna add a tag on. I'm gonna tag onto this. Just look up any of his solo albums. There's three.
Okay.
There's at least three of them. They're called. He does have kind of a name for them though. It's kind of this project he's sort of doing.
Mhm.
Hang on, let me just get the name for you real quick. But yeah, he's got this. He's got this solo thing that he's been doing with different vocalists though.
Yeah.
There's got all these vocalists he's working with on here. So let me see. Let me find it real quick. But yeah, it's definitely worth take a listen to. But yeah, that you'll love that Prophets of Rage. If you like his guitar work, and
Yeah,
if you like Rage's stuff, not without Zach, of course, and you like Be Real, I'm telling you, man, yeah,
right on.
it's the real deal. It's really good. So hang on one second, I'm almost there. I'm trying to find Tom Morello stuff here.
Man, Rage was huge
Oh,
in their heyday.
freaking love that band.
They
Yeah,
were one of the biggest bands of the 90s.
it's called the Atlas Underground, and then he's got the Atlas Under Fire and under yeah the Atlas Underground. Just look for that, Tom Morello.
All right.
He's got 3 albums that I know of so far, but yeah, take a listen to it. But then check this out too, man. I'm telling you, if you
Oh,
like this, if you like Rage stuff and you like his guitar work, it's every bit as good as it always is.
I will do that.
Yeah, but then
Fantastic.
but then with the rappers on top.
Yeah, man. I used to jam some Cypress Hill back in the day.
Did you really? Well,
I
yeah, you said you
loved
grew up on you were a rap, you were into rap.
Yeah, but I mean, this was after that. This was after I had also already become like a rock guy, a guitar guy, and it just
Oh,
like
right on.
um friend from high school just turned me on to them. He's like, if you ever listen to this, it's like crazy how good it is.
Yeah.
It's so clever and it's so well executed. And I'm like, all right. And I don't remember which if I listen. I don't think it was Temple of Boom. I think it was the album before that. Um, not the self-titled first album. It was the second one. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but
Okay.
yeah, it was I mean, it was just like a nice contrast to all the metal I was listening to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I like it too. Is that the contrast?
Yeah.
Thing. Same
There
here.
was good rap that came out in the 90s, man. I
There
mean, it was like
was
an evolution of what had happened in the late 80s and
big
you know
time.
Biggie Smalls and um geez, what else was I listening to back then? Um
It was really the Public Enemy,
Wu-Tang,
Wu-Tang. Yep.
you know.
There's a group out of Philly called the Goats that I liked a lot.
I heard of them, yeah.
Yeah, they later evolved into Incognito.
Really?
That was their name. Yeah, Incognito. Yeah, I love that. They were really good though. They were a really tight band around Philly.
Nice.
Yeah. So okay. So that moves us into talking about live shows and tours that we know that are going on, or that were any shows that you've come up you're going to go see.
Uh, I'm I may go to a show up in Brooklyn. This is in a few months. It's going to be Autopsy,
Oh,
and supporting them is going to be Morpheus Descends, which I've seen before, and they opened for us once, and I haven't seen them in at least like 30 years. So, but these are like OG bands. They're playing at the Monarch in Brooklyn, the Brooklyn
oh, I've heard
Monarch.
of that. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah. So
Very cool.
I gotta look into that.
Okay.
One thing I'm not interested in seeing, and this may sound weird coming from a fan of Rush, but Rush is now talking about going back that like put,
Oh, they are with the
going
new
on
drum.
tour
Yeah, they're going toward the drummer.
with this
Yep.
new drummer.
Yep.
Uh, it's exceptionally confounding to me because the ingredients for Rush includes the Doctor,
Yeah.
and he's not there anymore. So why don't they just call it something else? Hey, nothing against her. She's phenomenal.
Yeah,
She can
yeah.
play all the stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know,
I
they
agree.
want to get together. They want to play new music. That's great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Something else.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't.
I agree. I agree. It is a tough pill to swallow without Neil Peart in there. So yeah, like live, I mean, like I said, I respect her too, but you're right. It's not really quite Rush. They should maybe Rush something, Rush 2.0,
Well,
Rush something.
I said to my wife, like, why don't they just, if they want to just, first it started off with them playing some live shows.
Yeah.
And I said, well, why don't they just call it the music of Rush?
That would be that would be a good call. I think that's a great, yeah, I think that's a
Yeah, I
great way
mean,
to frame that. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and that, because she clearly she has nothing but respect for Neil,
Yeah, yeah.
and
And
she
she's gonna
knows the
play it.
shoes she's trying to fill.
Right.
So she's not looking to,
Replace
recreate
him.
the wheel with them.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
but just, okay, we're gonna play some Rush songs. We're gonna call it the music of Rush.
Yeah, yeah.
Eh,
That would be, yeah, an evening with the music of Rush. Yeah, I
Yep.
think that would be, yeah, I think you're right. That would be, I agree with that.
And if they
I,
want to write their own music, have at it. Call it something else.
I saw that Coroner is back on the road too. So
I heard of that.
they're headlining the tour now. Yep. So they're coming here to Portland in February.
I think they have a new album out,
I
don't
think
they?
they do. Yeah, I think they do.
I
So
heard it's
yeah,
really heavy.
I haven't heard it yet. I want to check it out. So have you been into them at all? Were you a
No,
Coroner guy?
no.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
just, another example of, too many metal bands.
Yeah, not enough to keep up with.
Yeah.
And here's another one I saw that was interesting on the road too. Not metal, but metal adjacent, we'll say. Did you see that Black Flag is touring?
With Henry?
No, different singer, girl,
Oh.
female singer actually. Kind of like, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. They replaced Henry with some with another singer. So
okay.
no, it's not Henry. So, but no, that I thought was interesting too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't heard them or anything like yet with the new singer, but I'm just kind of curious what the crowd responses will be like with that because I don't know
Yeah.
that the last time they toured or anything
Ooh.
like that, but it's got to be a while. But at the same, so there's the novelty of seeing them, but I can't imagine seeing them without Henry. It's the same problem with Rush, where how do you call that Black Flag without Henry?
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
who's like the definitive voice of that band.
Well, there's a spectrum of that, right? Because how many bands had to replace somebody and continued on? Now,
Yeah,
Zeppelin was in the same boat.
yeah,
And Plant just said,
yeah,
absolutely not. And he said he's been consistent about it for 50 years. So kudos
yeah,
to him for, having integrity about it.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, for
then
sure.
you look at AC/DC when they replaced Bonds. Well, they didn't replace him, but they got oh geez, oh my God, how am I spacing out his name?
Brian
The
Johnson.
Brian Johnson.
Brian
Yeah,
Johnson. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. I mean, they became a different band, but they still sounded like the
Like
old band,
AC/DC. Yeah. Yep.
right? And so
Yeah.
there almost wasn't like he wasn't so instrumental. Bon Scott was phenomenal as a
Yeah.
frontman, but
Yeah.
he wasn't literally irreplaceable.
Right.
You
Right.
rise to the level of a Neil Peart.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just So, for example, like the band Death, right? When
Yeah.
Chuck died,
Yeah.
now the tribute bands that constantly tour,
Yeah.
Left to Die, Gruesome, and then
Yeah.
uh,
Death to all.
Death to All,
Yeah.
uh, they don't call themselves Death
Right. Right.
because they know,
Yeah. Exactly.
even with some of the original musicians
Well,
being,
Gene Hoglan's in Death to All.
yeah,
So I mean,
Gene Hoglan, Steve DiGiorgio.
yeah. Steve Jor's in there. I was gonna say too. Yep.
When I saw them
Bass player.
was it last year or the year before? They had the Bobby Koblé,
How
I think
were
is how you
they
say.
when you saw them? Were they good?
Absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, I gotta see that.
Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it sounded so damn good. And the guy that's playing guitar and singing, I can't remember his name. He actually even looks a little bit like
I
Chuck.
saw that. He's even
It's
playing a
crazy.
guitar. He's also playing a guitar like Chuck played too.
Very similar to it. It's
So
not it's not a BC Rich Stealth. It's
I
something
know, but
else.
it's like the same. Yeah, he's
It's
playing
still
a
like
very
a
similar.
spiky
Yeah, yeah,
star
yeah.
kind of
The
guitar.
same kind of similar model. Yeah,
Yeah, but they make but there's no bones about what they're doing, that they're not trying to reinvent the wheel.
right.
They're just paying tribute.
Yeah, which is great, and I think
Yeah.
that's solid. I think that's a solid approach, personally.
Right. I don't
Um,
know.
I saw that, of course, that this was just the holidays recently that Trans-Siberian Orchestra just wrapped up
Oh yeah.
their final dates. Have you ever seen them, TSO?
No, I actually the very little things of theirs that I've seen, I, I haven't been really like into it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I got
I'm
you.
not into the neoclassical melding with like metal,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
weird because if you think about how close metal is to classical
Oh,
music in
look,
some
well, like
ways.
power metal, like Yngwie Malmsteen and
Yeah.
yeah, people like that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you would think it would lend itself to being, I don't know, attractive to more metalheads than not, but
Yeah.
I don't know, it just doesn't hold my interest.
Oh, okay, I got you.
But interestingly enough, I read that the guy who got this whole thing together, what was it, the end of the 90s,
Yeah.
when they got together, he produced the band Sabotage.
Well, I was gonna say they had members of Sabotage in there, members of Testament had played in there.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
mean, so they have heavy guitarists like in and out of that band.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah,
this.
yeah, one of the main guys from Sabotage was I think one of the guys that spearheaded that. So
Yep,
yeah, the
yep.
guitarist I think. So yeah, so but that's I like that idea of mixing the holiday classical stuff. I've seen
Yeah.
them twice because they
What are
were
they
fun to.
like?
They're fun. They put on a big stage show. It's huge. They play arenas because they're really big and they have this big mainstream audience.
Yeah.
What I find really funny about it is that they get these like families going and stuff, and they have no idea these guys are metalheads. So they have no idea. But the stage show looks like a metal show when you see it. It looks like Iron Maiden if they were playing Christmas songs.
Right.
Because they do a big stage show. They do like
It's very
fire.
theatrical.
Oh yeah, they have big
Yeah.
fire things shooting out. They have backup dancers. They
Lasers.
change sets. They have dancers. I mean, it's this whole thing, and
Yeah.
it's a spectacle. So I went there at one time with my mom, my stepdad, and then he was in a wheelchair, so it was like one of those things. And then I saw them back in Harrisburg like 100 years ago with another friend of mine. So it's just like I've seen them a couple times. They're pretty consistently the same, but they're very good at what they do.
Oh yeah.
It's worth seeing like at least once just to kind of see the stage show and the
Mm.
music. The music's good and it's pretty like I can understand why I wouldn't hold your interest because it's pretty. It feels generic. You know what I mean?
You took the word right out of my mouth. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, yeah. So it just feels very kind of like boilerplate, kind of holiday stuff. I mean, they have solos, they're very good guitarists and everything, but and
Right.
musicians are excellent, but it definitely feels very cookie cutter, generic kind of stuff.
It almost feels a little kitschy to me.
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's
But
definitely
I'm not saying that to make fun of them.
no, 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 no. But that's definitely part of the style. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I wouldn't, you wouldn't have to drag me kicking and screaming to go see them. It's just, they would be a third on the list, maybe.
Right. Gotcha. All
But yeah,
right.
that sounded pretty cool.
Well, it's worth checking out at least once. I think you'd appreciate the guitar work, and I think you and your wife would like the stage show and just things like that. So,
Nice.
just at least the holiday thing once. Why not? All right, I think that's going to wrap up this episode. Did you have anything else you want to leave off with here?
Uh, what was it about we were talking about Lamb of God and oh, when I rewatched that video
Yeah,
for Redneck, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
The video starts off with the parents looking through the yellow pages
yeah.
and seeing an ad that says Lamb of God for at children's entertainment or something, right? And it brought me back to what we discussed recently about how funny it was that the recent
Oh,
news,
the StubHub thing. Yeah,
the StubHub,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's almost
yeah.
like it
It
eerily
is kind of
predicted
like
that.
that. Yeah, it is kind of like that misunderstanding of what they really do and who they are.
Yeah,
Yeah, that you're right. That's a little bit of like a premonition, like to what happened later on to them. So
yeah. I mean, don't get look if you're going to go be a metal band, don't get yourself into a mess like that. Call yourself something proper.
yeah.
Seth Putnam said it best when he called his band anal cunt.
Well, there you go. Or
Then
AC for or AC
there's
for
no
short.
confusion about what that
There's
is.
no confusion. Or pungent stench.
Pungent stench.
Pungent stench is another one. So it's very clear kind of what you're getting there.
Okay.
Cannibal Corpse. I mean, so yeah,
Yeah.
there's definitely some obvious names out there that definitely are a precursor to what you're going to get for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lamb of God is a little deceptive.
Yep.
So yeah, I agree with that. So yeah, they just need to be more honest, I guess. All right, so that brings us up to the close of another episode, and I guess we'll see you next time.
We will see you later.
Thank you for joining us. Please share our podcast with anyone that appreciates heavy music. Be sure to visit our social feeds and drop us a comment with your thoughts on the podcast.